F1 has a new champion.
And it's the win that gives him his first world championship.
But it hasn't gone without controversy, as many claim that race control manipulated the safety car rule, which gave Max Verstappen an advantage.
In this video, we're going to be discussing whether Michael Masi, the race director in Formula One, should be sacked following the very controversial end to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, which effectively saw Hamilton be robbed of the World Championship.
You're crazy. Am I? Yes. Am I? Yes. Am I?
In a spectacular last lap shootout, Max Verstappen overtook Lewis Hamilton to become new world champion.
Far enough back, he's going to make the lunge down the inside. Hamilton sees him coming. It's a late lunge by Verstappen, who takes the lead of the race.
However, many argue that the decision made by the racing director, that is Masi,
is because it seemed like Michael Masi was very much acting like a film director rather than a race director in order to get the type of ending that we did.
And the word from Christian Horner that
I think we better call Commissioner Gordon. Commissioner Gordon.
Who is this?
Why aren't we getting these lap cars out of the way?
Just give me, because Christian, just give me a second.
gifted Max Verstappen with an advantage that then led on to him to win the race.
They have shared a brilliant championship battle, but the championship can only be won by one, and it's going Dutch in 2021. Max Verstappen for the first time ever.
And I, for one, agree with this sentiment. And in this video, what I'm going to try to do is support this claim using logic.
Oh, really?
And I'll attempt to show that Max should never have won that race in the first place.
At which he won 14 gold medals.
Now, before anyone wants to deflect with what happened in Silverstone.
It was the merest of touches, but it was enough. And look how the wheel has come loose from the rim.
And other racing events that happened in which the drivers were responsible.
And there's Max Verstappen right behind Hamilton into the first chicane. Once again, it's wheel to wheel. Hamilton and Verstappen. And this time Verstappen and Hamilton have crashed out, and they are both out.
This is about race control manipulating the procedure under the safety car in order to give Red Bull a huge advantage over Mercedes for that last lap.
There was just over one lap left, and there were still back markers between Hamilton and Verstappen, and not enough time left to let all the back markers through and have one final lap of racing. So what actually happened was that the 5 lapped cars between Verstappen and Hamilton were let through, but none of the other cars behind Verstappen. And in addition, the safety car was pulled quickly into the pits rather than waiting a lap as would usually be the case.
So my claim is, had Masi have not, let's say, changed the decision to allow the unlapped cars to then unlap themselves, Max would never have got onto the back of Hamilton at all. Wait. For all the people out there watching, I made a mistake. And I have to put my hands up. I did not do due diligence at the time of making this video, And the information that I had taken was having watched the replay on Channel 4, so the Channel 4, let's say, highlight show on the Monday afternoon, or Monday evening, should I say, right? And I based a lot of the information in this next sector of the video, having watched that, right? But, and my passions were, let's say, high fuming, so to speak, right? So in that, I will say that this next section of the video, the first part's right, but the second part is absolutely wrong.
Oh, really?
Because, like I said, having done some more due diligence on the matter, what I found out is that in the Channel 4 representation of what happened, they kind of like conveniently put adverts in funny strategic places, which left a lot of, let's say, missing laps from the entire race, But, but I'm not one to shy away from admitting that I made a mistake. Yeah, and besides, because I'd already kind of edited it after work and I was putting it together and everything, and I kind of thought I was on the right track. You know what? It came out like a good edit anyway, so I thought I'd leave it in for you to see how I fucked up royally. Yeah, right. Just because that's just how I am. I like got it wrong. But I have since then corrected the matter. So as we saw, when Latifi crashed,
Nicholas Latifi has crashed, and I think that is at turn 14.
Red Bull brought Max in for a new set of boots.
Verstappen coming into the pits, and I would imagine there's a set of soft tyres waiting for him.
And when Max came back out on track, he ended up still behind the 5 unlapped cars that were between him and Hamilton.
And lapped cars will not be allowed to overtake.
It's not mandatory in the regulations, which leaves Verstappen with a lot of work to do then.
And in order for him to try and win, he would have had to have passed all 5 of those cars. He's good, but he ain't that good.
He is not a god!
Had Massey have allowed the cars to unlap themselves straight away, as they have in prior races and previously,
I don't understand why I shouldn't be able to overtake the safety car.
what would have happened is Max would have come in for a new set of boots, the unlapped cars would have gone forward past the safety car, and the next natural car that would have been second, probably Steins or someone like that, would have closed up the gap to Hamilton, right, behind the safety car. So therefore, Max would have come out probably after getting a free pit stop. That is, he still would have come out maybe 4th or 5th, and probably at best, I would say he probably could have come out even 3rd. But at the end of the day, he still would have had to have passed someone to get onto the back of Hamilton before he challenged Hamilton for the title.
This was very, very unusual, and I can't see another reason for doing it other than the FIA wanting to have a final lap shootout rather than start with cars between Hamilton and Verstappen or finish under the safety car.
So the decision, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion by the way, is that holding those lapped cars behind Lewis.
Now, the decision was made by race control to not let these lapped cars overtake, and that's what they informed the teams.
Right, for a certain period of time, was done deliberately so that Max could get a free pit stop. Because as we could see, if you hold those cars there, the person who would have naturally been second has that 5-car gap, or should I say, creates a window, right? Because they can't close up.
But as we know, on the penultimate lap, Massey decided to let the lap runners go and unlap themselves, but only those between Verstappen and Hamilton. This meant Verstappen closed right in on Lewis.
This again allows Max to now get on the bumper of Hamilton, yeah, in which now an advantage is being gained because he's on fresh boots, Hamilton's on something like 36 odd lapped tyres, old worn out hards. And this, in my opinion, was the manufactured farce that took place as the opportunity had arisen from Latifi's crash.
Clever.
Therefore, Max really shouldn't have won because in either situation, he wouldn't have been put in contention anyway. And that's just me saying that. And let's not forget the fact that Massey kind of broke his own rules.
Director Michael Massey said that those cars were not allowed to get out of the way, but then after speaking to Max Verstappen's team manager, decided to change his mind, leaving Lewis Hamilton at a massive disadvantage, which I might add went against several Formula One rules, leaving Lewis Hamilton, the public and his team completely outraged.
He should have stuck to his decision to not let any lap cars go if he felt they wouldn't be able to in time given the incident. Now, I know the incident was cleared by the penultimate lap, but if you make a decision, I think you should stick to it.
And there we have it. Simple. And because of this skullduggery, Max went on to win the race and therefore win the championship.
So the sparkly stuff to celebrate as a Formula One World Championship for the first time.
Now you see now, you done fucked up, you know that, don't you? You done fucked up, you know that, don't you?
I see
what I'm saying.
I thought...
No, so, you know what I'm saying? That you done fucked up now, you know that, don't you?
So as you can see from that conclusion that I came up with Hamilton and the safety cars closing up, yeah, that was wrong, because simply what I didn't notice, or what I hadn't realised from watching the Channel 4 version of the event, is that how far Schumacher was behind, right? Now, so from there now, what I've concluded from there is that I still stand by that in either case, safety car or not, or when the safety car came out, that had they let the lap cars go or held them in position, Hamilton still would have won. That I'm still going to stay to that claim. But here's the third scenario now. And in this third scenario, what you'll find is that when I looked at the data schematics, from another channel that I watched, it comes to me that Schumacher was 1 minute and 30 something seconds behind the pace car, on lap 54 going into lap 55, right? Which means that he would have had to have closed up a gap of over 160 odd seconds, right, before he caught up with the pace car, right? And the pace car, and looking at the graph that I was looking at, it would seem that would be impossible, because when you look at where the Hamilton was on lap 50, when Latifi crashed, Hamilton was already on lap 54, coming up behind him, because Hamilton was actually in the midst of lapping Latifi just before he crashed. That's how far behind he was, and a lap down too. So Latifi was almost about to get lapped twice, right? And Schumacher was only a few car lengths in front of him, right? Or roughly in the same kind of proximity. So therefore, when the safety car had come out, in the third scenario, what you'd find is that, like I says, Schumacher would have had to have closed up a huge gap, and driving at the speed of the safety car speed, or he can drive faster than that, but he still wouldn't be able to drive flat out, and also he'd have to maneuver through traffic. And I think on lap 55 they still hadn't cleared Latifi's car of the track completely yet, so he'd still have to maneuver through that section there. So I conclude that even if they had allowed the lapped cars to go forth, Schumacher being so far behind, but still within a lap, but so far on the back of that lap, he wouldn't have got around to the safety car before the safety car had got onto lap 57. And sticking to the rules, the safety car has to do one complete lap with all the cars in position, right, before it comes in, which would have taken that safety car into lap 58. And what you would end up with is a shootout, maybe, let's say, two corners or three corners from the end, rather than one complete lap, which I kind of think could have been exciting, to be honest with you. So safety car comes in, and then it's a literal final split around two corners. Hamilton on battered hards and Verstappen on good softs. Who knows? But that's the claim that I've kind of or conclusion that I've come to now. Yeah. So continue with the video, because I thought the edit was still good. Which opens up a can of worms as to ask, well, it's kind of blatant that some shenanigans went on with this one, but then knowing that, what other races were, let's say, tampered with or embroidered in the favour of Red Bull?
Michael, have you got a minute?
Hello.
Yeah, Michael, look, that corner, he was never anywhere near alongside. Every driver that's driven at this circuit knows you do not stick a wheel up the inside at Copse. That's an enormous accident. And it was 100% Max's corner. So, as far as I'm concerned, full blame lays on Hamilton, who should never have been in that position. So, you could have had a massive, accident. Thank God he's walked away unscathed. So, I hope you're going to deal with it appropriately.
Hi, Michael. Hi, I'm going to give you the opportunity to start from grid position 2 for this, based on what occurred at turn 1-2.
Okay, thank you. We'll have an internal discussion on that. If we could have a minute to think about it.
Yeah, if you can come back to me within a minute or two, that would be great.
Okay.
Go ahead.
We would accept P2 on the basis that Ocon's on pole, correct?
We would drop you. Well, we would drop you back behind Hamilton, where it sits. Sorry, Jonathan.
Yeah, I thought you'd said.
No, my apologies, because I hadn't looked at it. Back behind Lewis.
Now, to all you Max fans out there, I'm not saying that Max isn't a fantastic driver. Yeah, he's proven it many, many times, and we can see the overtakes. We can see, his pole position times and stuff like that. Right? No takeaway, no credit from him. And I am not saying that Max cheated. Yeah, because I see that in a lot of comments. People were saying, "Oh, Max cheated." Right? It was the system that cheated. Right? All I'm saying is that should Max be on that podium, considering that he's got a referee on his side? But let me know what you think in the comments below. Yeah, was Hamilton robbed of his 8th championship this year due to the decision of let's say corrupt, or let's say Red Bull influenced decision, right? Or do you think that Max deserved it anyway, and because of his brilliance throughout the season, it shouldn't really matter that this kind of shenanigans went on because he should have won anyway? Let me know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I'm out. Peace.
Yes. Am I? Yes. Am I? Yes.